healthy bears are generally kind of bored of humans.
Yeah. They usually don't care we're there.
They're very ambivalent about you.
Yeah.
And that's how you can tell. You can tell by their behavior generally really quickly.
This is the Exploring the National Parks podcast with Dirt in My Shoes. My name is Ash, and I'm a former park ranger and the founder of Dirt in My Shoes. I think that the parks are best seen from the trail, and I'm here to make national park trip planning easy.
And I'm John. I carry the kids on the trails, I tell stories, and notice all the things that Ash doesn't care about much, like rocks.
Join us as we show you around America's spectacular national parks.
We're sharing our favorite places, fun facts, adventures, and misadventures.
And we'll even throw in a little trip planning.
Let's start exploring.
Well, things have slowed down for us. Not traveling as much. Kids back in school. Feels kind of nice.
Mm-hmm. It does.
It's nice to be a little bit more into a routine.
I love this time of year.
But we had to laugh because now that the kids are back in school, I don't know if your school does this wherever you are, but like ours, whenever they have an announcement, like I'll get a text and then I'll get an email and then I'll get a phone call and they'll leave a voicemail. And John and I were just talking about like, oh my gosh, how annoying that we have to get notified through every single thing. And then he says,
it's a woof.
It's a woof.
It's like from The Office when Ryan invents that like social media, that service where you can literally send a message and try to contact anybody through any possible means.
So you send a woof and it notifies you on your phone. You get a call, you get a fax, you get you get an email.
You get everything.
We were like, oh my gosh, our school sends woofs. That is exactly what this is.
It's so true.
So we're in woof season, but we've had a good laugh about it. It's funny now when it happens. Like, that's all I can ever think of is like, oh, there's my woof from the school.
There's that voicemail that I have to hurry.
The voicemail and the text and the email, and they really do. They blast all of it.
Yep.
So anyway, just had a good laugh about that.
Yep, exactly. The only thing they don't use is like when the emergency service comes across your radio and it's like, anyways.
They don't have access to that.
Probably not.
But it's pretty darn close to a woof. So we had a good laugh about that. We love The Office.
Yes, we do.
But today's episode is a trip report, a trip recap.
Yeah.
Not hour by hour because we go to these parks and do research. So a lot of times we're not actually enjoying the parks as you would when you go.
Right.
But today we did want to share 6 things that we learned on our most recent trip to Yosemite.
Yes.
This is a big one. Yosemite is a big park. A lot of people want to go there.
I love that national park. It's so pretty.
We go fairly often.
Yeah.
We're not there all the time, but it is one that we find ourselves visiting time and time again because it's so iconic.
Oh, and it's so big. There's so many different areas of the park you can spend time in and so many different aspects of it that you can enjoy.
I still have so many bucket list things that I need to do in Yosemite, but guess what? Still didn't cross off Half Dome. You know why? I'm still entirely terrified of hiking Half Dome.
That is true. That is very true. Ash does have, like, every time I bring it up, it's like, I can see...
it really is like a flash of terror. It's like, no.
A
Anxiety.
vein pops out of her forehead, and she's just like, I can see the stress building.
Every time we talk about Yosemite to you guys, I'm like, okay, if you've done Half Dome, like, you know, give me the pep talk. Like, get me on Half Dome, because I need to do it.
Yeah.
And people are always like, it's amazing, it's the best. And then I get there and I see Half Dome, and I'm like, nope.
Yeah.
I'm good. I'll be fine. But I did talk to a lady this time who she signed up for a guided tour. It was like a 2-night backpacking and it included Half Dome. And she was like, the only reason that I signed up for it, like the only way I'm doing it is because they put you in a harness and they clip you into the cables.
Right.
And I'm like, dude, really? Because I could do Half Dome that way.
Right. That would make you feel much more confident on the rocks.
Yeah. So maybe it's in my future, but
every time Ash doesn't like get the lottery or whatever for it, it's like, oh, too bad.
Oh, darn.
Shoot.
I really tried.
Exactly.
So anyway, still didn't do Half Dome. And we still have some cool stuff on our bucket list that we want to do there. But we had a great trip this time. We went in June.
Mm-hmm.
We went a little bit later in June because we wanted to give ourselves time to make sure we could get onto the Tioga Road. You never know. And this year happened to be a year where the Tioga Road opened really early.
Mm-hmm.
So we could have gone earlier for sure. And I do wish we would have, because that the first thing we learned has to do with why I wish we would have been there a little earlier. But first thing that we learned was that the mist trail is still really hard.
Regardless of the time of year you do it, it's really hard.
We say, and it's labeled as like a moderate trail in
Mm-hmm.
Yosemite. Yosemite has a lot harder trails.
Right.
But it's like, I always think like, okay, the mist trail, like I know it's uphill and stuff. Every time I get on that one, I'm like, oh, yikes.
Mm-hmm.
My body was not ready for this.
I know. It's moderate, but Yosemite grades on a curve.
It does. It does. So we love the mist trail. It's amazing. You're hiking up the side of Vernal Fall. And as you do that, the mist that comes off of Vernal Fall, like it shoots down, hits the rocks, and then shoots all the mist back up onto the trail.
Yeah.
So it's really, really cool. And you're just like going up the side of the waterfall. You can go to the top of the waterfall. And then if you want to continue, you can go up the side of Nevada Fall and get to the top of Nevada Fall. So it really is an epic hike. It's amazing. It's one of our favorites.
Yeah. But you started the description halfway through the hike. It takes a long time and a lot of effort to get from Happy Isles up to Vernal Fall.
Yeah, and it's like, and that's like the easy part of the hike, you know? And every time I get on that part, I'm like, I don't remember it being this steep.
Mm-hmm.
And it's paved.
Yep.
So you feel like it shouldn't be as hard as it is, but it's steep.
It's a consistent steep grade
It
for a
is.
very long time. If you see like where this trail takes you, like from Glacier Point or Washburn Point, you realize how far those waterfalls are from the shuttle stop.
Yeah, it's a trek. And then you get to the Vernal Fall footbridge where you can see Vernal Fall for the first time along the trail. And it kind of flattens out for a second. And there's some restrooms and a water fill station and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's just stairs upon stairs upon stairs for, never ending, it feels like.
Mm-hmm.
I hate hiking on stairs.
I know.
Like,
it's so funny.
Stairs are the worst, but you're going up the side of the waterfall and you're getting misted. So it's like, you just do it.
Yeah. It's
And
really
you
fun.
take breaks and it's really cool to be where you're at. And so those stairs I can handle, but I'm definitely pep talking myself the whole way. Like, just one more stair, just one more stair, just one more stair. Like, take it one at a time, Ash, because it's exhausting.
Yeah, it is really hard. But those waterfalls, they're spectacular and they're so powerful. There's so much water coming down those waterfalls at certain times.
So we went in the end of June and it was misting a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Not nearly as good as in years past when we've gone closer to the beginning of June.
Mm-hmm.
And it's amazing the difference a couple weeks can make.
Well, it's really hard to time because you want to get there when you can actually access the Tioga Road, but you don't want to get there too late. So you don't want to get there too early. You don't want to get there too late.
And I feel like a broken record on this because this, I think, is like one of the most important things you can know about Yosemite is like the waterfalls dry up.
Mm-hmm.
They don't, like, seeing these giant waterfalls off the granite cliffs are not a given.
Mm-mm.
They're not guaranteed. And as the summer goes on, a lot of them do dry up. And so it's June if you want to see the waterfalls.
Exactly.
It really is. And even still, I was like, nah, we went too late this year.
Yep, exactly.
We didn't get as misted as I was hoping.
I know. And I've mentioned Glacier Point and Washburn Point, and I say that because you can literally look down and see where you were hiking on the mist trail. You can see the whole mist trail from up there. But when you're up on at those viewpoints, you recognize all the water from these waterfalls is coming from really localized areas here in Yosemite in the high country. And once that snow melts and once that snow is gone,
the waterfalls are gone.
The waterfalls go with them.
Till it comes back or till it rains. So anyway, lesson learned. The mist trail is still hard, but still absolutely worth it.
Yep.
We saw perfectly, and listen, I don't judge. I talk about it a lot, how even if you don't feel like you can do the whole thing, you should just start and do what you can.
Mm-hmm.
I preach that all over the place. It's in my itineraries. It's all over.
Yes.
And so it's not like I'm like looking at people going, they should have gone further. But we did see they were 20-year-old guys wearing no shirts, which happens a lot on this trail. I noticed that. I was like, there are just a lot of shirtless men on this trail.
And
for better or for worse.
Message received, Ash.
But anyway, they just like were hoofing it. They went way faster than us getting up to Vernal Fall. So you could tell they were in shape. And they got up to the stairs portion and they turned around. And they were like, no way, man. That's way too many stairs.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, come on.
Seriously.
I'm a 40-year-old woman with 2 kids in tow. I'm like, you can do the stairs, man.
Yeah.
Come on. You can do the stairs. But push yourself a little harder.
Right. This is the trail to do it.
Yeah, do it. And it's hard, but push yourself to go as far as you can.
Yeah. And number 2, this was really interesting. We learned that sugar pine cones are really scary during windstorms.
So it's crazy because Yosemite has huge trees. It has sequoia trees. And so we were in the Mariposa Grove of sequoias.
Mm-hmm.
But sequoia pine cones are tiny.
They're smaller than tennis balls.
You wouldn't even notice them if you didn't know what you were looking for. But there's some other trees in Yosemite called sugar pines.
Mm-hmm.
And their pine cones are like 1.5 feet long.
Yeah.
They're massive.
They're huge and they're sharp.
Yeah. So we were in the Mariposa Grove and it was windy that day, which you never want to be in a big grove of trees when it's windy. Scary.
Well, it was really funny because as we were hiking up to the Grizzly Giant, like we could see dark clouds gathering in the distance. And
I'm like, okay, hurry. Come on, kids.
Exactly.
we gotta go fast.
We're not stopping to read any of these, interpretive panels, nothing. We're booking it up to the Grizzly Giant. And we made it there before the clouds descended. But as we were on our way back, halfway on the way back to the shuttle, these clouds, they hit with like a microburst of wind. Mm-hmm. And that released cherry bombs from the sky.
The sugar pine cones were falling everywhere. And we're just running down the trail. We're covering our heads. Our kids thought it was hilarious. They're just laughing, but there's sugar pine cones just falling from the sky all around us.
Yeah.
I did not get hit. I think our youngest almost got hit. He was really close.
It was like 5 feet from him. And it was just like, it was like if you've ever watched the movie Castaway with Tom Hanks. And like he wakes up in the middle of the night freaked out because something really loud hit the ground. And he finally figures out that it's coconuts dropping from the trees. But that's what this was like. It really was just like massive things hitting all around us. And we're booking it, running serpentine to try to avoid these things with an eye on the sky, making sure we're not walking underneath these things when the wind hits again. It was wild.
Yeah. The other thing that makes me laugh about the sugar pine cones is those are the ones that people always want to steal from the park.
Right.
And we saw people like trying to hide them under their shirts and like wrapping,
Nothing looks more natural than a sugar pine cone underneath. It's definitely like a pillow.
Right. It's 1.5 feet. I mean, they're huge pine cones. So, yeah, you didn't fool us. We saw.
I think the punishment they get for putting those sharp pine cones underneath their shirt, that's a good punishment for me. That's fair for stealing a pine cone. Oh my gosh.
No, well, the sap and the sharpness, and what are you going to do with it?
Where'd you get
in
that scar on your chest? Sugar pine cone.
that I stole from Yosemite.
Yes.
So anyway.
Don't steal pine cones.
No. Okay, so the third thing we learned is that bears are so great when they're just doing regular bear things.
Oh, this was so special. This was really unique because in Yosemite Valley, when you go there, you recognize how many people, how many buildings, how many roads and things there are actually in the valley. You can't see them from a lot of the viewpoints because the trees hide them, but it's a pretty busy place.
Oh, yeah. It's like its own town.
Yeah. Exactly.
And so we were walking, doing the Cook's Meadow Loop, which I really love. It has those beautiful boardwalks through the valley, and you have Yosemite Fall, like Lower Yosemite Fall across the valley. And, it's the most picturesque place to get a photo of the boardwalks with the waterfall and the big cliffs. And so we were doing the loop, and somebody stopped us, and they said, "There's a bear in there. Feeding. It's eating something."
And we were so surprised because it's such a busy place. You don't get that many wildlife sightings.
I can't really think of a time that we've seen a bear in the valley. I know they're in there, but we don't see them very often at all.
Squirrels and deer.
Yeah.
That's usually what you see.
Yeah. And so they were like, "We're watching a bear over here." So we went over, and like the spot where he was, there were people driving past everywhere behind us, but there's nowhere for them to park. It's a really narrow road with no shoulder. And so none of the people in their cars could stop. And so it was just anyone who happened to be walking on foot right there who could stop and see the bear. And he's just minding his own business. He's just eating some of the plants in there. We stood there for a while and just took pictures and videos. Not very good ones. He was pretty far away.
Right.
And we also met some people who listened to the podcast. So shout out to you. They were from Sweden. So that was cool. We left and we continued the Cook's Meadow Loop. And I was taking video content of me walking the boardwalks on the Cook's Meadow Loop right there. And as I was getting done with this video content towards the end, I was walking on the boardwalk and John was videoing me, and I hear a snap off to my right, and my head just like, like swivel. Oh my gosh. I didn't see anything, but I was like, I know the bear is kind of in this area.
Right.
And so I was pretty sure it was the bear, but I couldn't see him at all or anything. And so we finished up our video, and then we kept walking, and we walked to the other side of the boardwalk. And then that sweet, sweet bear popped out of the bushes, like kind of right where we were, and jumped on the boardwalk and started walking on the boardwalk, just leisurely.
Yep.
Until he got to the spot where he wanted to be. And then he got off the boardwalk and went further into the meadow. And I had my camera out. I was taking video, but really shaky video, because I was like, oh my gosh, he's coming right at us. And, we're trying to give him space, but also he's right there. And then when he
great dilemma.
When he left the boardwalk and went into the meadow, he ran across the meadow. He was just so cute. He was just having a grand day.
Yeah.
You could just tell he ate his favorite food. He's just, frolicking through the grass. He gets to there was a big fallen tree, and he's just sauntering across the log. And he was pretty far away at that point, but we're taking so many pictures and stuff because he was posing for us.
Yeah.
And we got the sighting all to ourselves.
It was incredible.
In Yosemite Valley, in the middle of Yosemite Valley.
Totally unheard of. It was one of the most unique experiences. And
it was in the middle of the day, because we'd already done some other stuff that day. It was 11 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
So it's not that people weren't out. We weren't super early or anything. But we got a bear sighting all to ourselves. And then I just was thinking about it, and I was like, you know what? That was the cutest, sweetest black bear. He wasn't little. He was a male.
Yeah.
He was male size. He was a good size.
But he was cute because he was a bear doing bear things, and he hadn't been corrupted by human food and stuff like that.
Yeah, you could tell. I mean, if he was a sick bear, he would have been able to get me while I was on the boardwalk.
Exactly. Compare and contrast this bear to the bear we talked about a few weeks ago in Kings Canyon,
Yeah.
that broke into the ice cream freezer at the Cedar Grove Lodge.
Yeah.
That bear was a dangerous bear.
That bear would have been super scary to come across that close.
Exactly.
And have him hide in the bushes behind me. Yes.
Yes.
But I was like, oh, I love this bear.
Yeah.
What a sweet bear. He did bear things. He acted normally. It wasn't scary. We gave him space. He gave us space.
Because bears that are healthy bears are generally kind of bored of humans.
Yeah. They usually don't care we're there.
They're very ambivalent about you.
Yeah.
And that's how you can tell. You can tell by their behavior generally really quickly, which is why a lot of people, when they tell us that they're worried about bears in Yellowstone or Grand Teton or any of these national parks with bears, they tell us we're really apprehensive about bears. We're like, listen, there's nothing better than a bear that is healthy.
A safe, cool bear sighting.
Yeah.
But when you're saying I'm scared of bears, you're probably saying I'm scared of sick bears.
Yeah.
Or I'm scared of bears that are used to humans.
Yeah.
Or it's a specific bear.
Right.
A specific type of bear. So anyway, bears are so great when they're doing regular bear things. It just made my heart happy. He was so cute.
Yes.
And then we told the rangers we saw him, and they were like, did he have a tag? I was like, no, he wasn't tagged. And they were like, really? We got to get out there and go see who this bear was. And I was like, he's a really nice bear. He was really sweet. He wasn't a problem bear.
He's just on a day trip into the valley.
Yeah.
He'll get out of here real soon.
Oh my gosh. So anyway, that was really cool. It was a cool experience.
It was cool. Number 4 thing that we learned in Yosemite this year is that Alex Honnold is quite possibly the craziest person alive.
Oh my gosh. Mind blown. And I think it's fair to say, John and I, we've seen Free Solo. We've watched the climbers on El Cap.
Mm-hmm.
And so when we watched Free Solo, it was crazy, right? And we knew the context of it. But seeing it through our kids' eyes just made it so much crazier.
Yeah, exactly. We actually watched it on our laptops over 3 or 4 days while we were at Yosemite. And every day we went into Yosemite, our kids looked at El Cap and were like, oh my gosh, it's so big.
It is it's crazy. So if you don't know what we're talking about, Alex Honnold is a rock climber who free soloed without ropes El Capitan, which is a massive, it's like a 3,000-foot cliff.
Uh-huh.
And it's like the mecca for rock climbing.
Oh, absolutely.
That cliff just calls to rock climbers. It's such a big deal. And Yosemite has such a strong rock climbing culture.
Well, it's probably the center of the rock climbing world.
Yeah, well, in the United States at least.
Yeah.
For sure. And so if you haven't seen that documentary, Free Solo, you really need to go watch it, especially if you're planning on going to Yosemite. But we sat at the bottom of El Cap. We do this every time we go. And we bring our binoculars and we look up at the cliffs and we try to find rock climbers up on El Cap. This year we saw something new we've never seen, which was they had their sleeper platforms out.
Yeah, it was so cool.
I cannot imagine.
But the only way we could see the sleeper platforms was and I have a pretty good telephoto lens, is by zooming in my telephoto lens as far as it would go and then zooming in the picture as far as it would go.
They're just tiny, tiny specks.
That's how small they are when you're at the bottom. That's how insignificant you seem compared to this massive cliff. And yeah, we could see that these people had set up, they were either testing out routes or whatever, but they had set up camp on a cliff.
And it usually takes people a few days to climb all of El Cap if they go at a normal pace.
Uh-huh.
And then you have Alex Honnold from the Free Solo documentary. He climbed El Cap in 3 hours without ropes.
Yeah.
The whole thing. And so all of us just every time, it was so much fun because every time we went into the valley and every time we saw El Cap, we would all just stare at it slack-jawed. And the kids would always say something like, I just can't believe he climbed that without ropes. Or, how do people climb that? Oh my gosh, it's so steep. Why would you do that, Mom? It's just like, it just added an extra dimension of awe to the cliffs this trip.
Yeah,
For all of us, I think.
And then when the kids like happen upon like a giant boulder or something like that and they try to climb it, they're like, I just realized how hard it actually is to climb 10 feet of boulder, let alone 3,000 plus feet.
Oh, without a rope. He's the craziest person. I do not know how they kind of explain it, how his brain like doesn't register fear.
Right, exactly.
Like they actually did a brain scan on him and they're like, yeah, your brain doesn't really do what most people's brains do.
Well, it's kind of like what we were talking about earlier with Half Dome, and it's all graded on a curve. He has Yosemite brain where it's all graded on a curve and he doesn't register what he's doing is as risky as the rest of us.
He free soloed the other side of Half Dome, not the side with the cables that everybody else goes up.
Yeah.
He free soloed the steep part. So, yeah, his brain is definitely different from mine.
Oh, so cool.
No doubt about it. But it was a really fun addition to our Yosemite trip this time to have the kids actually feel the shock and awe of what those rock climbers do up on El Cap.
Yeah, and the footage was so gorgeous and so amazing. And sometimes like you're at a place and just like how you don't like pictures never show scale, sometimes when you're at a place even as big as Yosemite, you don't perceive the scale. And that watching that movie in preparation for our trip to Yosemite really helped add scale.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. It was awesome. I highly recommend doing that if you're going to visit Yosemite.
Yeah. Okay. Number 5. And this one, if you like to travel a lot, eventually this is going to happen to you. Number 5 thing that we learned is that sometimes life just happens.
You can do all the planning in the world, man. It's like, I am the queen of planning these trips. I love planning these trips, and I have everything all set out the way that I want it to go, and then you're thrown a curveball, and what do? Except just try to embrace it.
Exactly.
And cry maybe a little bit. But we were supposed to be leaving Yosemite that day, and we headed out along the Tioga Road and back to Tuolumne Meadows for a couple of hours. And while we were hiking in Tuolumne Meadows, when we came back, our truck, it broke. Our truck broke.
Yes.
But anyway.
There was a fuel leak on the inside of the engine. And so the only reason that we noticed it originally was because the air coming through the air vents from our air conditioning smelled like WD-40.
Yeah.
Like really strong. And so then we kind of pulled over, and luckily,
it was shooting out fuel.
Yeah.
Shooting when our truck was on, shooting it out.
It was like a water gun.
Yeah. Anyway, so we took a risk because we were kind of in the middle of nowhere. Not the middle of nowhere, but when you're in a park, a lot of times there's no service and there's not much there. And so we took a risk trying to drive down to Lee Vining, which is the town right outside of the park on the Tioga Road side. And we thought if we can just get down the hill to Lee Vining, then we can hopefully find someone to help us. And then we exited through the entrance station at Tioga Pass. And the park ranger flagged us down, and she was like, your truck is smoking. We're like, we know.
Which, in retrospect, the risk probably wasn't smart to drive, to try to think that we could make it anywhere.
Well, and since she flagged us down, we stopped. We pulled over because we couldn't see the smoke.
Yeah.
And anyway, those sweet, sweet rangers helped us call the tow truck, and they let us use their bathroom, and we just kind of hung out right there. I learned a lot sitting at that entrance station for the few hours that we waited.
Yeah, Ash took the opportunity to do some more research.
We watched them turn around so many people who didn't have reservations to get into the park.
It was like a third of the cars.
Yep, they were turning them all around. And I was like, That's why Yosemite felt so nice this year. It actually was not nearly as busy as it had been in years past when we've gone. So
the reservations are cutting down the crowds.
They are. They are working. It was sad to watch how many people they were turning around, but it was like, well, they are turning them around. People are not getting their reservations.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't just show up. They will turn you away. But yeah, it was pretty eye-opening. We also met another Dirt in My Shoes fan while I was standing on the side of the road watching our truck get pulled onto the tow truck. And she popped her head out the window and she's like, "Are you Ash?" So shout out to Amber. It was nice to meet you and your family while our truck was getting towed. But anyway, so we got towed down into Lee Vining. We got stuck there because our truck is a diesel and they didn't have a diesel mechanic and it was the weekend. And anyway, so we ended up having to spend extra time in Lee Vining while we waited to get towed to Bishop to a place where they could actually have a diesel mechanic. And we got it all squared away, but we had to cancel. And I was so sad. We had to cancel our few days in Great Basin National Park that we had planned for the end of our trip. I had my Lehman Caves tours. They were having the stargazing parties. Like, I was so ready for Great Basin.
Yeah.
And we had to say no to that. So
I know. The east side of Yosemite, all the way through Nevada, is not the place to break down.
It is not. It is not. Even just getting out of Yosemite and going down to Lee Vining on the tow truck and then them having to take us to Bishop was like thousands of dollars in towing because there's nothing there and we didn't have any other options. And then we got it fixed and then we had to drive through the entire state of Nevada to get back home, where there's signs that are just like, next service is 150 miles. I saw 2 different signs that said that as we were going. It's like you hit one little town and then again, 150 more miles till you hit something else.
Right.
It's kind of scary.
It is a little bit scary for sure. And so then you're like,
did fine.
I hope the fix holds.
I
hope
know.
the fix holds.
It was fine. We figured it out, but even the best laid plans, right?
Yeah.
So
and what
do you do?
You know, you do the best you can, but I think that's now a core memory of our children.
And think about it. I mean, when you go to these parks, you really are at Mother Nature's mercy, you know? And we've been watching, I mean, all summer, wildfires and flooding and thunderstorms, monsoonal moisture, you know? It's just like things happen.
Yeah.
And sometimes you have to change plans. Sometimes you have to cancel things. I think we did a pretty good job of not letting it ruin what was a very wonderful trip up to that point.
Yeah.
We did a good job, but just keep that in mind. Like, stuff happens.
Exactly. But also, I will say, I was so glad that we had a lot of extra water in our truck.
And food. We had a bunch of food too.
So if you're driving across Nevada, treat it like a wagon train and just bring lots of resources with you in case something happens while you're in Nevada.
There's nothing there. There's nothing. So, yeah. So that was 5th thing that we learned on our trip to Yosemite this time.
Right.
The 6th thing, this is just a quick fun one. It was awesome, but we learned that if we follow our own itinerary, we will see you out on the trail.
This was so much fun because we were testing our itineraries to kind of see if, you know, we like to test them to make sure that information is up to date and that everything is still working and conditions in the parks haven't changed. And so we were following itinerary and we met so many nice people.
We really did. We really did. And it was fun to see you out there. That's why we do this, you know, and it was fun because I don't ever tell people where we're going to be. I don't announce that really. And so it was funny because we'd pass them on the trail and they'd do double take. And because who expects to see me there? You know, it's like, it's not in context. You're not expecting it, but they would recognize us by our voice or something. And then they'd stop us. Holy cow, wait, you're Ash. We're following your itinerary, you know? And anyway, it was so much fun.
It was so much fun.
I really enjoyed that. We met the most people on Lambert Dome.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is, I guess nobody else hikes that one except for Dirt in My Shoes itinerary followers.
Oh my gosh. It was so funny because we met people in areas that most people do not travel.
I did meet one lady in the bathroom on the Mist Trail who was like, oh, I saw your YouTube videos. And so, yeah.
Ash was like, can you close the door, please? I'm a little busy. No, I'm just kidding. She didn't do, that's not what happened.
No, she was so nice. But yeah, then there were some other places we saw people where it was like, oh, maybe this is just obscure enough that nobody else does this. The Lambert Dome Trail is awesome. I don't know why more people don't hike that one.
I know. It's so fun.
But it was full of Dirt in My Shoes people when we were there. And it was fantastic.
It was so much fun. And we told the people out on the trail this, and I'll say it again. You're our people. And so please always say hi because we want to meet you because you're our people. And we're all national park lovers. That's what Dirt in My Shoes is all about in the first place, is just bringing national park lovers together.
Yeah, and getting to see your families out on the trail doing something that maybe you wouldn't otherwise be doing, you know?
And shout out to all the people that had young kids getting them out hiking.
Oh my gosh, I know. It just made me so happy to see. And they were like, I mean, we met this cute family on Lambert Dome as they were going up, and they were on the hard part of the trying to get up to the base of the dome. It was like the hardest stretch, and that's where we met them. And they're like, it's not this hard the whole way, right? And they're cute little kids, or just anyway. And
they were champs.
They were. It was amazing to see. It was so fun to see people out there and just enjoying being in nature with their family and spending quality time together. And it really makes all the work worth it for me to be able to meet you in person. That was so much fun for me. So anyway, say hey if you see us. If you're following our itinerary somewhere, there's a chance you might see us there. Yeah. Because we are in those same places at those same times when we're in the parks too. So look out for us. But overall, it was a really cool trip to Yosemite this year. Yeah,
it was great. The weather was nice. The waterfalls were just big enough to mist us. You know, we saw some cool wildlife, great people. It was a beautiful place. But definitely keep in mind, you know, the timing aspect that we talked about earlier. If you're setting up your own trip to Yosemite, after the Tioga Road opens, but before the waterfalls dry up.
Yep. And then the timing throughout the day, because Yosemite is very busy, which is what our itinerary on Dirt in My Shoes will help you with. I will help you get to those parking lots, get the spots, get out on the trails, find some new trails that other people don't know to hike.
Exactly.
And just have some really cool experiences. So, awesome trip to Yosemite. We highly recommend it. If you have any questions about planning your trip, we have YouTube videos about Yosemite. I have lots of articles on Yosemite. We have our Exploring and Fun Facts podcast episodes you can listen to. We have so many resources, and we hope that you're able to get dirt in your shoes in Yosemite National Park.